Hello children, let us move to ahead. Now you can see here derive m1 u1 plus m2 u2, that is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Now this has come from law of conservation of momentum. Now what is m1? Let us consider a body. Let us consider two bodies, body A and body B, which is in motion, and suppose that the two bodies A and B collide. Suppose that the two bodies A and B collide. So we have taken the mass of A as m1. Initial velocity of mass A is taken as u1. Final velocity of A is taken as v1, and the force acting of A due to B we have taken as F1. Similarly, for the next body, that is body B, we have taken the mass of the object B as m2, initial velocity of object B as u2, final velocity of object B as v2, and the force acting on B due to A, that is F2. Now according to Newton's third law of motion, action and reactional force are equal and opposite force. Action and reaction force are equal and opposite force, which means that A exerts a force on B and B also exerts an equal and opposite force. Now as you can see here children, F2, we have taken F2 as force acting on B due to A, and what we have taken F1 as force acting on A due to B. So you can see here minus sign is put. Actually F1 is equal to F2, but since it is equal and opposite, therefore we make use of the sign. And that sign is negative. Now as you know, F, force, is equal to mass into acceleration. So our F2 becomes m2 into a2, and our F1 becomes m1 into a1 with a minus sign. Now we know that acceleration is equal to v minus u by t. So in both the places, what we are going to write? In place of a2 we will write v2 minus u2 upon t is equal to minus m1 v1 minus u1 upon t. Now from both the sides we will cancel t. So what is left? m2 v2 minus u2 minus m1 v1 minus u1. Now let us open the bracket. m2 v2 minus m2 u2, that is equal to m1 v1. This minus and this minus becomes plus m1 u1. Now let us take all the u's together, and let us take all the v's together. So this is as it is. This one we need to put on the right hand side, and this one we need to bring on the left hand side. Okay, so let us do that now. We have this minus will become plus, and m1 u1 as it is. This one we are going to shift, so m2 u2. Okay, so on rearranging first initial, that is the u will come on the left hand side, and then final, so v will come on the other side. So on rearranging we get m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus m2 v2. Now what is the law of conservation of momentum? When two objects collide, the total momentum before collision is the one with u, is equal to the total momentum after collision. After collision, that is the final velocity v1 and v2. Initial momentum u1 and u2 is taken together, and here v1 and v2 is taken together along with the masses. Now in order to understand the law of conservation of momentum principle, let us consider the example of a bullet fired from a gun. When the mass of the bullet is m1, is fired from a gun of mass m2, its velocity becomes v1. Its velocity becomes v1. So velocity will become v1. Okay. Before firing the bullet, both the gun and the bullet are at rest, and hence the total initial momentum is 0. So if you consider this equation, when you consider this equation, this part is going to become 0. This part is going to become 0 because before the bullet leaves the gun, both the bullet as well as the gun, they are at rest. So since u1 and u2 is 0, this total expression will also become equal to 0. So what are you left with? You are left only with this much part. You are left only with this much part. Okay. Then according to the above law, the total final momentum also has to be 0. Yes, correct. If our LHS is 0, the RHS should also be 0. Thus the forward moving bullet causes the gun to move backward after firing. And you can see once the bullet leaves the gun after firing, as the bullet moves in the forward direction, a little jerk is also experienced by the gun in the opposite direction. And this backward motion of the gun is called as recoil. Now children, we have taken velocity for the bullet as v1 and final velocity for the gun we have taken as v2. So the recoil velocity, so we are left only with m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to 0. And here we are interested to find what is v2. So m2 v2 is equal to minus m1 v1. I have changed the place, so this will become 0 minus. So v2 is equal to minus m1 m2 into v1. Simply children, I have just taken m2 from this side, and since I have changed the side, it is going in the denominator. So this is the recoil velocity of the gun. I hope this is clear. Let me explain once again. I have a bullet whose mass is m1 and I have a gun whose mass is m2. Before the firing of the bullet from the gun and the bullet both are not moving at all, so their initial velocities are equal to 0. However, they will have a final velocity. So v1 is the final velocity of the bullet and v2 is the final velocity of the gun. This final velocity of the gun is also called as recoil velocity of the gun. So in this expression, our left hand side becomes 0, correct? And we are interested to find what is the recoil velocity, which is v2. So we have shifted m1 v1 on the other side, so it goes with a minus sign, and hence to find the recoil velocity of the gun v2, we have kept v2 alone and the rest we have shifted on the other side. Okay, so our m2 will go in the denominator. So the recoil velocity of the gun is given as minus m1 upon m2 into v1. Now why does this happen? As the mass of the gun is much higher than the mass of the bullet, the velocity of the gun is much smaller than the velocity of the bullet. The magnitude of the momentum of the bullet and that of the gun are equal and their direction is opposite. Thus the total momentum is constant. Total momentum is also constant. Okay? Total momentum is also constant in all the cases. So that is nothing but law of conservation of momentum. Which states that momentum before collision is same as the momentum after collision.